Guys, welcome to the finale of this evidence-based weight loss series. I apologize for any noise. Lawnmowers and we got airplanes, so I apologize for any noises. Hopefully it'll be a good video. But I want to encourage you guys with this. Maybe you're the person that's watched all 19 videos prior up to now and you haven't lost weight. As a matter of fact, maybe you've gained weight. And here comes an airplane. Even if you've gained weight after all this time, I would encourage you, my tip number one, never, ever, 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 ever give up. Just do not give up, okay? Because once you've given up, you've already been defeated. That is tip number one. Number two is you gotta make changes to actually change. I would seriously, of all the advice I've given between these 20 videos, if somebody were to do every single one of these things and not lose any weight, like, I would basically pay money to see somebody not lose weight. After all the advice I've given in these 20 videos, I would pay to see somebody not lose weight if they followed all of it. Really want to drive home the fact that you have to make changes to see a change in your body. If you're not making any changes, not doing anything differently, of course you're not going to see a change. So let's re-summarize this series. Part one, we talked about a growing problem with no end in sight, and that is the fact that obesity rates have just skyrocketed over the years. It's causing all kinds of issues such as diabetes, cancer, heart disease. That's a result of way too much obesity in our world today. And then after that, I talked about in part two how the obesity epidemic started and why did it more than double worldwide since 1980. And I think there's a couple reasons for that. The government profits on obesity. They make processed soy, they make sugar cane, they profit off of those cheap ingredients. They subsidize those things, which makes me think they somehow profit off of that. You know, people just started eating more processed foods. World War II came around and they needed to preserve their food. So that was the introduction of the processed food industry. We got refined carbs, cheeseburgers went up, the supersize menu went up at restaurants. So obesity more than doubled worldwide since 1980. There's a bunch of reasons for that. Refined carbs and fats make up more than half the American diet. Then I went into part three. I talked about energy density, and this, in my opinion, is the ultimate way to lose weight. So example, a teaspoon or a tablespoon of olive oil is 500 calories. If you have 500 calories of vegetables, your stomach is 100% full. If you have 500 calories of beans, lentils, and potatoes, your stomach's about 80% full. So that is my ultimate way to lose weight, in my opinion. I showed that graph in part three. I would encourage you, if you missed part three, energy density, definitely check out the video. That to me is the most important video in the entire series, and that's why I started with it, because sure as you know it, these views on these videos are getting less and less views. I think people are getting bored of the series, so that's why I started with the good stuff first. And then part four, you could lose more weight based on the time of day you eat, circadian rhythm. If people ate 700 calories, 500 calories, and 200 calories, then the other group did, this was breakfast, lunch, dinner, then the other group did 200, 500, 700. And the group that had majority of their calories in the morning lost 18 pounds. The other group lost 9 pounds because it was a 1,400 calorie diet. But just by having more of your calories in the morning, you can actually lose more weight than if you have more of your calories in the evening, even if you have the same amount of calories. 18 pounds versus 9 pound loss. That's a huge significant difference. Highly suggest you take that advice. My advice is, if possible, be eaten by 5, 7 o'clock at the latest. I'd recommend by 5 if you're able to do that. Part 5, we talked about my 65-pound weight loss journey, and my emphasis on that was you have to change your environment. A mango will not live in the Arctic, right? Berries will not grow in a desert. My emphasis also in that video was that I made changes a little bit each and every day. They were slowly but sure changes. You know, maybe you give up pop, and then you start cutting out sugar, and then you add more exercise, and then you give up fried foods, and then you add more vegetables to your diet, and you add more fruits to your diet, and then you add more nuts. Keep making changes every single day, every single week, every single month, and before you know it, that weight loss is gone in no time. Part 7, I talked about how you need more fiber content, more water content, less salt content because it's more filling. You want to avoid obesogenic chemicals such as canned foods and fish. These also can cause leptin resistance, which can also lead to more weight gain. In part 8, we talked about how vegans were 40 pounds lighter than the average population. Primarily because they're eating less processed foods and eating more whole foods, and they're eating less meat. And then we talked about how TMAO is linked to obesity. TMAO is basically when you're eating animal products, it increases your chances of obesity, increases your chance of heart disease, cancer, and other health problems. That's by eating animal products you get this TMAO. The vegan does not have TMAO in their bodies. Then after that, we talked about how insulin resistance leads to obesity. So that's primarily by eating a high-fat, high-sugar diet, eating processed foods. That's going to lead to obesity. And then your gut bacteria is important too. If you eat a whole food plant-based diet, you'll have a healthy gut bacteria inside your stomach. Most of our bacteria in our body, 90% of our cells are in our bacteria in our gut. So there's a lot of cellular things going on there. So that can also, by having a healthy gut, that'll lead to less weight gain. And then we talked about in part 10, you need more fruits, more veggies, more whole grains, more legumes, more nuts, less refined grains. In part 11, we talked the best diet for weight loss, most ever recorded in the medical literature, when they did not force people to calorie restrict or exercise. It was people following a whole food plant-based diet, eating foods made in nature. And this is the most weight ever recorded in the medical literature. And then part 12, I mentioned you need to have less fat, you have to have less sugar, you have to have less meat, less refined grains, less refined carbs. Carbs in itself are not totally bad, it's the refined ones that are bad. Vinegar can apparently help you lose weight. Weighing yourself does seem to be effective as you monitor your progress, and that's one thing I would encourage you guys to do, is monitor your progress throughout this journey. Flaxseed and cumin can apparently also help you lose weight. Part 14, we talked about exercise and eating rates. How much does exercise actually help with weight loss? The answer is it doesn't seem to be a ton, but it seems to be better than nothing. So continue to exercise. It has so many health benefits, but nutrition is more important than actually exercise in itself. I have then mentioned in part 15, weight loss eventually plateaus. It's like a big semi-truck going down the road. They use just a couple miles per gallon of gas, versus a small little car gets more fuel mileage per gallon. So just accept that weight loss is eventually going to plateau. You can have negative calorie salads. You have soups, they're more filling than if you have a casserole with water. If you put it in a soup form, it's more filling. Don't give in to distracted eating. Try not to watch things or do things while you're eating. Just focus on eating. Distracting eating can lead to more calories. Then we talked about in part 16, activate your brown fat. This is something we're born with to help keep us warm as we come out of the 98-degree tropical temperature. You can do this by having chili peppers and ginger, and then being cold, you can also activate this brown fat. We talk about changing habits and food psychology and hydration. So for example, you're in the habit of reaching for that Snickers bar, you're instead reaching for nuts and apples instead. That's a good example. You just got to change habits. People eat stale popcorn at a movie theater, but if you put that in a conference room, people no longer eat it. It's because it's a habit just to reach for popcorn when you're at a movie theater. So change bad habits for good habits. It's hard to break bad habits, so just exchange it for a better one. Instead of having that savory fried chicken, maybe you could have a savory, spicy salsa with some vegetables, grilled vegetables. That's a good example of what you could do. Part 18, we talked about intermittent fasting, and how that does lead to weight loss. Well, fasting can lead to weight loss, but it's not sustainable long term. But intermittent fasting does seem to help. Example, you could eat from 10 in the morning to 6 p.m. That would be an 8-hour window of eating, and that does seem to lead to less calories. And then stress and lack of sleep. Too much stress, lack of sleep does seem to be linked with weight gain. If you have too much stress in your life, you're more likely to eat comfort foods. And then we went over a study out of the University of Chicago last week, where if you are not getting as much sleep, the people in the group that weren't sleeping as much, they lost weight too on their calorie restricted diet, but they lost more muscle, whereas the group that got 8 hours of sleep a night, they lost body fat. Talked about walling off your calories too. So instead of having hummus, for example, you eat chickpeas. And that is the entire series, guys. my encouragement to you guys would be to check out all the recipes in the description below of this video. There are 30 of them. I would encourage you to try a new recipe each week. I encourage you to eat primarily a whole food plant-based diet. Keep 90% of your foods as whole foods, maybe 10% of your foods and your calories as processed foods. It's okay to have a little bit, you just don't want to have very much of it. Give up sugary drinks. Focus on drinking water, really eating less processed foods, more whole foods. Make a lot of your diet fruits and vegetables. I would make more than half of your diet fruits and vegetables. Eat energy dense foods, foods that are low in calories but fill you up, such as fiber. Potatoes are a great source of food that can help fill you up quickly. As people say, fruits and vegetables don't often fill them up. Add some potatoes with that and you'll be full in no time. Getting lots of beans and lentils. Eat as little processed foods as you can. Take this seriously. Never, ever, ever give up. Just eat the food made in nature. Kale, spinach, watermelon, beans, lentils, sweet potatoes, apples, all the foods you can grow in your garden outside. Mangoes, cherries, all those foods. I encourage you to eat as much of those as you can. Eat very little processed foods. Don't let anything stop you from reaching your goals. Exercise at least 5 days a week, minimum. And I think you can lose your weight. That's all I have for this series. I encourage you guys, please share this video. I was hoping all these videos were gonna get at least 100 plus views. I only got one video over 50 views, and that was my weight loss journey. Sometimes people just like to hear people's weight loss journeys and how they made changes in their lives to become successful. So sometimes those work better in and of itself. And thank you guys again for watching this video. I encourage you, if you didn't feel like you got a lot out of this, my best advice is go watch part 3 and eat high energy density foods. That would be my advice. Foods that are low in calories and just high in fiber content and will fill you up. I would suggest that. Maybe rewatch the series, take some notes, and never, ever, ever give up. Don't have the mindset that, oh, I failed before, I'm gonna fail again. Nope. You gotta get rid of that mindset, and you gotta make changes in your life. Slowly but surely, and you can do it. You can be successful. Never ever give up. Even if you've been trying for 20 years, do not give up. And if you've been trying for 20 years and you still haven't lost any in these 4 or 5 months since I put up this series, I encourage you to go back again and watch them. And thank you guys with that so much for watching this video. I don't know what our next video is going to be. No more lecture videos for a while, for like 6 months. I want fun videos, what I eat in a day videos, maybe vlogs, our vacations to Michigan, or other vacations we're gonna do, beach days with Hadassah, maybe Hadassah's 3rd birthday. Fun videos, but I don't think I'm gonna upload for at least 3 or 4 weeks because I'm kind of exhausted of YouTube, I'm not gonna lie. And I put way over 100 hours of work into this series, and fortunately I only seem to get about 10 to 20, 30 views per video. But hey, you know what? If even 1 or 2 of you lose weight, let me know in the comment below. If even 1 or 2 of you have lost weight, a significant amount, and gotten healthier and added years to your life, I am extremely happy that I put over 100 hours into this series to create for you. If it helped you lose several pounds, you feel better, you're more energetic, you look better. If all those things happen, just even 1 or 2 of you guys, I am so happy that I was able to help you in your weight loss journey. But yeah, please, if you have any changes, it encourages me because I did a lot of work in this series, and I like to see positive changes in people. So please let me know. All right, guys, thank you so much for this video, or watching this, and yeah, we'll see you guys in a couple weeks. And I'm definitely gonna have Sarah and Hadassah in it. Actually, they're right up there on that hill. They're talking on the phone. All right, see you guys later. Bye-bye.